live conversation and lively debate about what's trending in the Carolinas. This is Sunday Nights with Odi Fitzgerald on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Now here's Odi.
Well, hello there. You're very welcome on this Sunday night. 2 days to go, folks. Yeah. To say it's hottening up, I think is the understatement of the year. You know, it's getting there. It's getting there. I've been in America for one election before, and I don't think I was invested or as invested as I am now. So I don't think I was paying attention as much as I am now. But, you know, it's getting there. I want to hear your thoughts. You can get me on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, 71307, and you can call me on the WORD talk line, 800-905-0989. Don't forget, I am streaming live as well on Facebook. So if you want to get your messages in on Facebook, you can do it there on the WORD 989 Facebook page. Also on my own page, Odi_Fitzgerald. And you can listen back or watch back at any stage or time that you want. But yeah, so choose tonight. Well, first of all, we're all going to be down in Bimini's. Charlie's going to be there, Tara's going to be there, and Bill was on earlier on tonight. He's going to be down there. I'm going to be down there as well. I'm going to be having a little meet and greet if anybody wants to see what that Odi fella looks like. Come on down to Bimini's Tuesday night. We're going to be there for quite a while. What am I talking about on the show tonight? Well, there's one big thing I am going to talk about. I'll give you one guess as to what that is. But following up from last week's show, when I was talking about people needing to see signs and to see warning signs, a listener sent me in a photograph. He said, "Odi, please keep my name anonymous." I said, "No problem at all." It's a photograph that he took while he was on vacation. And it says, it's a sign that was in a hotel. And it says, "Attention hunters, please help us to keep our new hotel clean and comfortable for all of our valued guests. It is against state health codes to have any game inside the building and or to clean any game inside of the guest rooms. No exceptions will be made." I just have one question to ask about that. Who was cleaning the deer inside? Like, nobody cleans the deer. Would you do that in your own house? No, you wouldn't. You would not. Thank you very much, whoever sent that in to me. I'm going to keep your name. I'm going to keep your name quiet. But yeah. I got a text earlier on. Don't worry. I will be talking all about the election. I just want to get a little bit of correspondence out of the way. Just a small little bit. Bear with me. Daylight savings time. Friend of mine texted me earlier on and he said, why is your show not on? And this was about 7 o'clock. And I said to him, well, you see, the thing is that daylight savings time kicked in there yesterday. So this morning. So it will be on at 8 o'clock. Don't worry. But does anybody care about daylight savings time anymore? Text me in. Let me know. Do you actually care about daylight savings time? Is it anything that people care about? Because your phone does it. Now, I wear a watch. Well, I wear an Apple Watch and I also have a normal watch and I wear that as well. Is it a thing that people don't, just let the world do it for them? I think the world, like, if the internet decided to give us 2 hours back, I don't think any of us would really notice. We'd be there and like, but I thought it was 1 hour. Is it not supposed to be 9 o'clock? Like, I woke up this morning. I woke up at 7 o'clock this morning, looked at my watch and it was 6 o'clock. And I was like, I woke up early for Sunday. And then I realized, nope, my body clock just woke me up a little bit early. On the text line, shout out to Kid Flaccid. Yes, it's something that we brought over from the Upstate Pulse Saturday nights. Tara is the next person that is going to be reading the text messages. One of the words that Tara doesn't like is the word flaccid. So if you feel the need to type the word flaccid into your text, then by all means go ahead. Yes, it's a little bit childish, but it's a bring on. What have we got? When I text into Charlie James that you needed to hurry up and become a citizen. Yes, I do. So you could run against. So a texter is just after telling me here now that I need to become a citizen so I can run against Lindsey Graham. And Charlie said that he would vote for me. Well, I tell you one thing. If anybody, hang on, just hold on there for a second. Hold on for a second now. If anybody, sorry about that. If anybody is watching on the stream, let me take off these headphones. If anybody's watching on the stream, I am now wearing a beautiful red headpiece, and that was given to me by Charlie James. And it says what I've been saying for quite a while. Let's make America great again. I'm going to take it off because it's really warm in the studio. Take it off for a minute. I'm just going to pop it over here. Sorry about that now for 1 second. Yeah, it is warm in the studio, so that's why I don't wear hats. Yeah, so thank you very much to Charlie. And Charlie would vote for me. I think Lindsay would probably vote for me as well. You never know. Now, have you noticed, because I have you noticed that Donald really is a people person? He is. He's not just a politician looking to become the president. I mean, he was president before, but he is a people person. At his rallies, at all of the rallies, I've watched quite a few of the rallies now at this stage. Kind of have to, the whole radio thing and reporting. At his rallies, he makes people laugh. He will make people giggle. He also talks about his manifesto. And he gets the crowd to settle down a little bit. He does. Like, he doesn't encourage the crowd to go crazy all the time. He doesn't encourage them. I mean, just listen to how he speaks.
With your vote on Tuesday, I will end inflation. I will stop the invasion of criminals coming into your country. Your country is under siege. All we have to do is go out on Tuesday and vote, vote, vote. We're going to win it. This election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more years of incompetence and failure or whether we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country.
And there you have it in a nutshell. It was like I've been saying for years. I used to do music radio for a long time, and a lot of songs I used to hear was "Please don't bore us, get to the chorus." And that's what Donald Trump is doing when he's at his rallies. He doesn't bore us. He gets to the good parts. He gets to the bit that we want to hear, that we want to talk about, that we want, the stuff that we want him to actually do for us. Now, sometimes he may get it wrong, ever so slightly. But everybody makes mistakes. I've made mistakes. You've made mistakes. Everybody's made mistakes. But at least he has a plan. And as I said, when people start, screaming and shouting and roaring and clapping, and he quietens them down. He lets them have a little bit of fun, lets them be a little bit rambunctious. Sorry, word didn't come out there. But he quietens people down so he can tell them more stuff that he's going to help to make America great again. He relaxes everybody. He makes someone feel welcome. When Kamala, or Cackles, as she's affectionately known here around the station and around other places, when she's doing her rallies, she just makes the crowd clap and cheer and hoop and holler and keep going because she doesn't really have an awful lot to say. She doesn't really have an awful lot to do. She makes up for the lack of the words that she's going to say. She's like, I'm going to have a 2-hour rally, but 1 hour and 25 minutes of that is going to be the audience clapping and cheering. And that's what she does. Donald Trump has intelligent guests. He had one of the most intelligent men, second, after me. He had Elon Musk many times. I hope when Donald gets back into the White House, that he gives Elon Musk a job like, I don't know, Secretary of Cool Stuff. That'd be cool. Whereas Kamala has celebrities. We don't want to hear. Yes, I know what you're saying, Odie. Elon Musk is a celebrity. Yes, he is, but he is also a genius. He is also a businessman. He is an inventor. He is someone. If Elon Musk was to tell me something, I'd listen to it. I would listen to what he has to say. If Beyonce Knowles was to tell me something, or any of the celebrities that she's had, I'd be like, okay, are you not like just supposed to sing songs and you're here to entertain us? Pick a side. Is it politics or is it entertaining? What do you want to do? I don't know. Yeah, I just think that someone that is going to lead our country into greatness again needs to be a person we can get behind. When I come back, Saturday, that's words wrong. Saturday Night Live is coming under a little bit of flack. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WORD. It is the voice of the Carolinas. Susan, I will get back to you in a second, and we will have a chat about that. I'm going to try my best. I keep the mic open, and I will try and chat to you as best I can. I have figured out a way to get people on the stream, to come on live, so I can get people. Bear with me. Yes, anybody new that's watching, when I'm looking there, that's the camera, but my screens are also here as well. So I need to, my screens. I get music and stuff like that. Yes, I stay live on the stream while I'm on ad breaks. So if you want to ask questions on the stream, go ahead. I hate when the music stops. If you want to ask questions on the stream, go ahead. Ask the questions you want to ask, and I will answer as best I can. Yeah, people have been talking about the time change. Do we need to change anymore? We were talking about it last night. I'll talk about it here while we're on the ad breaks. Do we actually need to have the time changes anymore? I don't know, because I don't think it factors in anymore. I mean, you have electricity and everybody's traveling to and from places, and I honestly don't believe that the time change needs to be there anymore. But that's just my 2 cents. Different people, different strokes for different folks. Anybody watching in Ireland, give me a thumbs up if you're watching back in Ireland. Text line is pretty busy. Yeah. Just remember, anything I say on the stream is literally just for the stream, because I'm in an ad break at the minute. So you can get exclusives. Like, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is the Saturday Night Live fun stuff. Did you watch it? Did you watch the Saturday Night Live stuff? Do you watch Saturday Night Live? Has it jumped the shark? Is it gone? Is it not what it was? Okay, so I got a message in there. Odi, how do we know when you're just on the stream? Headphones are off. When I'm just on the stream, I'm not listening to my own voice. The reason I wear headphones in radio is that I can hear the levels, and if I'm too loud or too small. The stream system does it all itself, so it makes it louder. So if I stop talking, you'll hear me breathing because the microphone gets louder. But when I'm going on air, I have to have headphones so I can listen to the sound, make sure I'm sounding okay. Guess what I'm doing now?
Talk to Odi at 800-905-0989. Sunday Nights with Odi Fitzgerald continues on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Thank you very welcome back. Text line has, the stream, well, both of them, text line and the streamline have been exploding. If you want to get on the chat on the streamline, remember when the ad breaks are happening on the streamline, I am still live on the stream. Harold is saying that he hasn't watched Saturday Night Live in years. It's not as good anymore. You see, that's what I've been thinking. Sherry's been on You Rock, Odi. Thank you so much, Sherry. I love hearing that. On the common sense retirement planning text line, we were talking about the sunset earlier on and the clocks going back. It says, hi, Odi. I wish we would stay on daylight savings time. I hate the sunset happening at 6 p.m. Well, Texter, all I have to say to you is try living in Ireland for a while, because once the clocks go back in Ireland, it gets dark at about 3:30 in the afternoon, give or take, and it doesn't really get proper bright until about 10 o'clock in the morning. So that's a big one. And I will be talking a little bit about that later on because of some of the effects of living in darkness. Now, did you watch Saturday Night Live last night? Let me go in here for a second, and I'm just going to pop that on. Did you watch it? There was double Kamalas. We had double Kamalas on Saturday Night Live. Now, I'm not really sure what she was trying to do, but it didn't work. It proved the whole thing is, for her, there was no relevance of having Kamala on Saturday Night Live last night. Now Maya Rudolph was on it, and I like her. She was in Idiosyncrasy, or I can't remember the name. She's been in a lot of films, and I do like her. But here, this is the first couple of seconds. This kind of just lays it down for what happened in the rest of the sketch.
With your vote on Tuesday, I will end in.
Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Sorry, just stop there for a second. Go in here. Went into the wrong one. Of course, Odie did. He always does. But here we go. Right, this is the one.
Gosh, I wish I could talk to someone who's been in my shoes. A Black South Asian woman running for president, preferably from the Bay Area.
You and me both, sister.
Now, I had to stop it there for a second. I had to edit it because the applause, remember what I was talking about in the first segment? The applause was going on for about 2 minutes. The segment itself was about 4 minutes long, but the applause was going on. So I had to do a little bit of editing. I'm just proving a point from earlier on.
It is nice to see you, Kamala.
It is nice to see you, Kamala. And I'm just here to remind you, you got this. Because you can do something your opponent cannot do. You can open doors.
Ha 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 ha. So here's the thing. Kamala went on to say that it's a little bit, it's almost becoming bullying at this stage. Some people could say it's bullying. Now, I know that Donald is not going to say it's bullying because, he doesn't accept it as that. But the amount of stuff, the bad things that Kamala is saying about Donald could nearly be bullying at this stage. It could. And people are saying, Odie, but you're giving out about her. Yes, I'm giving out about her, but I am pretty much regurgitating what she has said. The stuff that she comes out with. And she made a speech in a church today on a pulpit. Okay, I'm not 100% sure if it was Catholic or if it was a Baptist church. She made a speech on a pulpit. And she said that there is no room in this world for hate. Okay? No room in this world for hate. And then she goes on to say that Donald Trump can't even open doors. That she goes on to say that he is Hitler-esque. That Kamala goes on to talk about the likeness between Donald Trump's party and the Nazi party. Now, I don't know. Okay, I'm not the smartest man in the world. Do you know? I have some of my moments very stupid. I do. I sometimes pull a push door. Yes, I do. But I do not hate anybody. And I do not push to hate anybody. And if I'm giving out about somebody, it's probably because they've done something stupid. But I won't give out to somebody else. I will walk up to them and say, listen, what you done there? Like yesterday, I done something very stupid yesterday. Not going to go into it, but I did. And I went up to the person and said, I done something really stupid. I'm really sorry about that. And they were like, look, just don't do it again. You'll be fine. But Kamala I don't know what angle she's playing for. I really don't. Now, not to mention as well that Saturday Night Live are probably going to be in hot water for having Kamala on the air. Because there's a little thing in the FCC. The FCC control everything that everybody says in media. Okay. There's special guidelines that we all have to follow. Working in radio, everybody here in the station has to follow the guidelines that are given out to us. There is a certain amount of words that we're not allowed to say. Anybody that listens to my podcast knows that the podcast is not affiliated with the FCC, and it's a little bit different, but we'll talk about that at another stage. There are certain words, they're called the 7 deadly sins, and you're not allowed to say any of them. And I don't. Never said them on the air, ever. There is also certain guidelines that if something is happening, like if there is an election coming up, for argument's sake, that if you want to have somebody from one party on the radio or on the TV, you also need to have somebody from the opposite party on the radio or on the TV. So I put in, a few weeks ago, I put in an email to Donald Trump. Well, he's people. And I said, I would love to have President Trump on my show at some stage. Love to. I then also had to send an email to the Democrat Party and say, I would love to have Kamala Harris on my show at some stage. And I actually would. I would like to talk to the lady. I just want to see how she works. Now, I know what you're saying. Odi, it'd be 5 minutes of laughing. Well, it might. If I was talking to the Donald, it'd be 5 minutes of education. I listened to his interview with the Rogan interview. It was interesting. You know, he did talk a little bit of politics, but he also talked interesting. But Saturday Night Live have to now prove that they offered for Donald Trump to come on the air, and I'm not sure that they're going to be able to do it. So they're facing hot water. There was a Republican member, a member of the Republican Party who also works for the FCC, and he has said, well, you know, I think they're doing something that they shouldn't be doing. So they could be in hot water for that. They could be facing some sort of a fine or something. FCC normally give fines if you do something that you shouldn't be doing. I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's going to be fun. When I come back, you know you got to vote on Tuesday. I want to hear you voting on Tuesday. Who are you going to vote for? Text in, Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. I'm also going to tell you the questions that you need answered about the voting. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD, voice of the Carolinas. Sorry, I had to talk really fast there at the end. I have to get to my clocks. That's what all read. If you've ever see that, that's my clock. See it? Yeah. And I have to hit my clocks. Hitting your clocks is getting to the right time because stuff has to happen and all that kind of stuff. So it's fun. Claudia, what did you say? Saturday Night Live had some great material these last 4 years. Yeah, oh man, oh, there was so much that they could have went and done, but they didn't do it. Probably because of what Harold said, that Saturday Night Live has gone so far left that it has said a lot of the worst thing. Yeah, it has. It's gone so left. Yeah, there was so much that they could have done and they could have said. Is the weather kicking in? That's fine. Need to get to the text line when I get back. Why do liberals? I don't get that. I got it. Sometimes I get text messages in on the common sense retirement plan. I don't need to do that, but the text line, and they don't make sense. Sometimes. Sometimes. Is anybody going to Bimini's? I'm going to be in Bimini's on Tuesday night. I don't know what to wear. I don't know what to wear. I'm kind of like, I was talking about it with Lonzo last night. I was like, what do I wear on Tuesday night? And he said to me, just wear a shirt and a pair of slacks or something. Don't Donald Duck it. Donald Duck. That's what I said, Donald Duck. Anybody that's listening back to this later, or anybody that's listening, Bimini's is a restaurant just outside Greenville. And we're going to be there. We're going to be doing a live program, a special program on Tuesday night. And I'm going to be there. I'm not going to be on air. Well, I might. I don't know. Charlie might grab me and pull me on air. I don't know. But yeah, I will be there and meeting people and saying hello. And I might get some food because I hear the food is really good there. But yeah. What was I watching last night? Something I was watching last night. Cannot remember it for the life of me. No, it's gone from my brain. So, anybody wondering about the hunting thing? You might have seen on my Facebook page that I was hunting on Friday night. So I shot at a deer, and that's all I'm going to say. Listen, here's the thing: you don't always hit the target. You don't always hit the target. I didn't. So I go back out again next week. Going fishing tomorrow. Not too sure how much of a fishing trip I'm going to get in tomorrow because, well, I get finished work at a certain time, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, by the time I get out of work and get home, it's going to be like 4:30. Pretty much got to get out straight away because, I mean, it'll be dark at 6. Might get an hour fish. I don't know. Because it gets dark at 7 o'clock. What time was it dark tonight? Anybody? I don't know. All righty. Shall we do the radio thing?
Share your thoughts. Text Odi on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line at 71307.
Sunday nights with Odi Fitzgerald on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
And very welcome back. Touched the nerve. I think I touched the nerve with Saturday Night Live on the StreamYard. We are streaming live. Remember, we're streaming every Sunday night. Pretty much everybody during the week streams. you can get it on the, if you're curious, if you're listening out there in Radioland, if you're curious and you want to see, because I do a lot of backstage stuff, on the stream. You can check us out on the WRD stream on the Facebook page. You can check it out there. A lot of people to be asking me what happens behind the scenes. That does. Anyway, yeah, so we were talking about Saturday Night Live, and Claudia says Saturday Night Live had some great material these last 4 years, but they blew it. Yes, they did. Haven't watched it in years. There was so much absolutely fantastic material that they could have used in the last 4 years, but they didn't. Not even slightly. Harold goes on to say that Saturday Night Live has gotten so far left and it has done and said a lot worse. Nothing is ever done or said about it, but now I don't want to do it. On the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307, in which you can text at any stage you want, and you can ask me pretty much anything. If it's something I can't reply to on the air, I can reply to you in private. But yeah, what have people been saying on that? Odi, I stopped watching Saturday Night Live when it stopped being funny 15 years ago. I've heard that said a lot, that Saturday Night Live stopped being funny. I remember it years ago when John Belushi was on it and Chevy Chase was on it, but I've heard Chevy Chase was kind of hard to work with, but and look, not for me to say. The Saturday Night Live was good when Jane Curtin and Glenda, don't know who they are, but it was good back then. Odi, I voted last Saturday, Trump 2024, baby. I'm going to go with that, 100%. And somebody else sent in text, Odi, do you like Celtic music? Yes, I do. I'd call it trad music, traditional music, and I do like it. I like it a lot. I play a lot of trad music. I play trad music at home on my guitar or on my tin whistle or on the bowron or on the banjo. So yeah, I know I do. I like that kind of music. I really do. It's traditional Irish music. Sometimes you will sing along with it, and sometimes there's all that. It's just look it up. Look up after the show, obviously enough. Look up the traditional Irish music, and you can have a look. It's on YouTube. There's lots of stuff on it. Now on Tuesday. Well, I suppose it will be Wednesday because the results mightn't be in until Wednesday morning. But on Tuesday, the entire world, I'm not just saying America, but the entire world is going to hold its breath to see what happens. But what do you need to know about the election? Well, that's what I'm here for. I'm going to help you out. When is the 2024 general election? It is on election day, November 5th, which actually turns out to be my anniversary as well. But there you go. What candidates are on the ballots? Well, there's only two answers for that, and it is Kamala or President Donald J. Trump. What do I need to register? Well, it's a little bit too late to register. You should have done that on the 14th of October. These are text messages that have been sent in to me in the last couple of weeks. I moved since the last time I vote. And I haven't updated my registration. Can I still vote? If you go back to your home, like if you make a trip back to your hometown where you're still registered, I believe you can. Can I take my child to vote? This is a big thing that people say to me. They say, Odi, I can't go vote. I can't do it. And I say, why? Tell me. Hold on. I get a little bit closer to the microphone and be like, okay, tell me. Tell Odi why you can't vote. I'm all ears. Go on, tell me. And they say to me, Odi, I can't go voting because I have a child. Because I have my kid. Because I have people that depend on me. Well, first of all, what I'll say to you there is they're depending on you to vote. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that, yes, if you have a child or a minor, I don't know why you'd have a minor, they should be digging up coal. But if you have a child under the age of 18, they may accompany you not only to the voting area wherever you're going to vote, but they are also going to accompany you into the voting booth because they're a child, because you need to look after them, and because, you need to vote. So if you say to me, Odi, I can't go vote, I have to look after my kid, don't worry, bring your kid with you. 100%. Bring your child with you. Odi, what do I need to take with me when I go to vote? Well, at the polling place, you'll be asked to show one of the following photographic identifications. It is your South Carolina driver's license. I think pretty much everybody has one. Okay, it may be a learner's permit, but it's still a driver's license. You could have your ID card that is issued to you by the South Carolina Department of Motor Vehicles. Okay. You could have your voter registration card with a photo. You could have your federal military ID because, look, when you put the word federal in front of it, well, it makes it a big deal. I've only discovered that once in my life when I was trying to get an Irish motorcycle registered here in South Carolina. Now, listen to me. I've given out about the DMV before, but I've also praised them. But this time, one small phone call could have been made and it would have made my life a lot easier down in the DMV because I had to go all the way to the customs guys just outside Greenville. And they told me if there's a problem, get the DMV to call us. Your bike is legal. They need to register it. And they did. They did. Everything was fine because the federal people said it's okay. And the last but not least thing that you will need to take with you if you are going voting, if you don't have any of the above, you may have one of these. Remember, you don't need to bring all of this stuff. You just need to bring one of them, is your United States passport. Now, I do not have one of those yet. Well in the process of getting one. And when I do, I'm going to run against Lindsey Graham, apparently. That was texted into me earlier on that, once I get my ID, once I get my citizenship, I need to run against Lindsey Graham. So apparently that's what I'm going to do. Charlie's going to vote for me. And text in 71307. Would you vote for Odi? I can never be president. I could never, ever be president. The highest office I could hold would be governor, I think. Governor, because, Arnold held the office of governor. I'm just curious. Everybody out there, I want you just for pure giggles out of it. Text in and let me know, would you vote for Odi? I'd vote for me. I definitely would. Now, getting back to what you need to bring. If you do not have one of the photo IDs, well, you can make your voting experience fast as possible by election day. You need to register to vote. If you register to vote, you will have your voting card and you can go with there. There's lots of things. If you need to know any more information, if you need to have any more, you can check it up on scvotes.gov. That's scvotes.gov. Look in the top bar and it'll tell you exactly what you need to bring with you if you're voting. If you haven't voted already, it will explain everything that you need to vote here in South Carolina. And it's the same in Georgia. It's the same in every state that is, every state in and around South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia. I'm really showing up my geography now. Florida is there as well. But if you need any questions, send them in to me as well. Send in your questions to me, and I can answer them as best I can. You can get us on the stream, or you can get us, as I said, on the Common Sense Primer text line. On the StreamYard, Randall said, I think thanks for fighting for us, Odi. Well, that's what I do. Try to stand up for people as best I can. Try and fight for people as best I can. On the text line, Common Sense Primer Planning text line, it says, I love Irish music. So do I. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So Texter says, Kamala always does what's right for Kamala, which, I will get you. Odi, I'd vote for you. You have my vote. There you go. So there you go. Maybe Odi is going to vote or going to run for governor of South Carolina. What do you think? I don't know. It could be interesting. It could be very interesting. The things that happen on Sunday nights. Anyway. When I come back, fireworks. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WORD. Stop playing with fireworks. The voice of the Carolinas. And back to the streamline. I'd vote for me. I gotta get music. Go with that one. I hate that when there's a big pause. So I've got what's happening, what's coming up on the screen in front of me here. Okay, I've got, so this is the Charlie James. It's a spot for him. Next one that's going to come up is the Mark Levin spot. You can't hear it, but you don't need to. I'm telling you what it is. And then it's an advertisement, and then it comes back to me. So I'm looking at stuff like that. But sometimes there's a little bit of a break, like it's a second long. And then my producer brain kicks in where I'm like, why is nothing happening? Why is there nothing on the air? And then a split second later, it comes back, and I'm like, okay, calm has been restored. But yeah. What happens if I do this? Oh, yeah. Look at that, Harold. That's just awesome. We have a TV here in the studio, and I'm watching Coco. Come on. No sound, obviously enough. I can't hear it, but it's there. And some people say to me, Odi, why do you tell us what happens? And because I'm letting you know what happens in the studio. I had a friend of mine in the studio last week. A guy who came over from Ireland. He's working here in the US. And I was just showing him bits and pieces in and around the studio. And like, I've worked in studios for so long. I've worked in studios for 20. What age was I? Nearly 27 years. I've been in studios for nearly 27 years. And I just take all of this for granted at this stage. Like, I've shown you before, you've got all the buttons here. See, everything is there, and there's screens here. There's load. Broke the camera. You know, there's screens here. I've got two screens up here. I've got two screens here. Of one here. Of one here. There's another one over here. I don't have it turned on at the minute. And like that's why when people sometimes I freak people out because I'm looking at this screen here. I'm not. I'm looking at they say I'm looking at the camera, but I'm looking at the screen. But yeah, no, I just as I said, I like to talk about the stuff that's happening in the studio because a lot of people don't get a chance to ever come into a studio. They don't. Anyway, shall we do radio? I think we shall. And you're very welcome back to the last segment of this first hour of Sunday Nights with Odi Fitzgerald. Yeah, that's me. That's me, the Irish guy. Got a text in earlier on saying, because I was in the studio earlier on. You know, I get into the studio early. I do a little bit of research and, you know, show prep, homework, you may call it. And do a little bit of research. And someone said, is that Irish guy on tonight? Yes, he is. Every Sunday night. Now, fireworks. Look it. I know they're legal, and I know they're 100% legal here in South Carolina. You can buy fireworks, and you can send them off into the air. I've done it many times. You know, the old whiz poppers and whatever you want to call them. Do you like fireworks? You can text in on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307, or you can call me on the telephone. The WRD talk line is open. 800 905 0989. Do it when I'm coming into the advertisement, because I can talk to you then for a minute and then we'll get you on air if you want to come on air. But I was watching a video of a baseball fan. I'm not going to mention any baseball teams. I'm not going to mention any teams at all, but you're probably going to know because it was the World Series. And a fan was lighting fireworks celebrating his team's win of the World Series. Okay. That fan is now missing 5 of his fingers. 5 of his fingers. Fireworks are not toys. They're not toys. This is something that I'm not going to talk about this for long, but this is something that I talked about last week. There is a reason that there is warning signs on boxes. There's a reason that there's warning signs everywhere. I read out a warning sign earlier on tonight on the show about hunters not gutting their deer in rooms of hotels. Don't ask me why, but it's, And I talked about it on the show last week. The one thing, as I said on the show last week, I went to buy a chainsaw. I'm not going to mention the brand of chainsaw. It's a European brand of chainsaw. I went to buy a chainsaw, and on the warning sign, now the fact that I have to say this, warning signs are there for a reason. On the warning sign of the chainsaw, it said, do not try to stop the chain by using your genitals. Yes, you heard me right. I'm going to repeat that once more. Do not attempt to stop the chain on this chainsaw that cuts down big trees with your genitals. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say any more than that. On text line, fireworks provide job securities for paramedics and emergency room doctors. That statement you've said to me, texter 090, is 100% correct and right. The only thing I'm going to say about that is that the doctors and the nurses and the paramedics, remember years ago back in Ireland, I used to be a paramedic, they have enough to be doing. I get it. I get that your text came in jest, but I will say one thing. Have you had to go to an emergency room, or have you had to go to a doctor's office or anything in the last? It's so hard. That's something I was talking about many weeks ago, is trying to find a general practitioner. It's not easy because there's a lot of people, and I've talked to a very good friend of mine. I work with him at the minute, and he's a part-time paramedic, and he has said to me that some people really abuse the system. And maybe it's something that I definitely need to talk about in the next couple of weeks, is the fact that some people do go to the hospital when they don't need to go to the hospital. If you get a cut on your hand, not crazy big. Now, I'm not giving you any medical advice. I'm not going to do that. But just think about it. If you get a cut in your hand, and you go to urgent care, they'll stitch up your cut. And a little cut. You might have fallen and hitting it off a branch. Nothing else is wrong with you. Not giving any medical advice. Go to urgent care. Okay? Something big, like if you lose all your fingers with a firework, then you need to go to the hospital. You need to get there as quick as you possibly can. Okay? Be that calling an ambulance or whatever. If it's something serious, go to the hospital. Definitely. If it's something that's not serious, if you have a cough, you have a little cold, if you wake up in the morning and you're feeling a little bit chesty, you can feel you've got mucus in your chest, go to your pharmacy. They'll give you something for that. Obviously, if it stays for quite a while, then you probably need to go to your doctor. But there's a lot of stuff the pharmacies can do. And yes, as I said, fireworks are providing paramedics, as the texter said, that paramedics and emergency room doctors, well, yeah, I think they have enough to be doing. Now, something else that caught my eye is tornadoes in Oklahoma. So today alone, there was 7 tornadoes touch ground in Oklahoma. And I want to know is, have you ever been in a tornado? I know we don't get a massive amount of tornadoes around here in South Carolina. We have gotten them. I remember 6 years ago, one came through my subdivision. Wasn't a massive one. It did mess up a few trees. It did mess up a couple of docks. There's a few docks on the lake. I don't live on the lake, but I live close to it. There's a few docks were messed up. The roofs were taken off them. So yes, I mean, tornadoes have come through, but we don't get them as bad as Oklahoma. Oklahoma suffers really bad. I think it's that area. But have you ever been in a tornado? And have you ever been in an earthquake? Again, it's not something that we have a lot of. We don't have a massive amount of earthquakes here in South Carolina, but they do happen. And apparently I've been through about 4 or 5 of them here since I've been in South Carolina, but they happened late at night when Odi has been fast asleep. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Nothing will wake me up. No, I'll take it back a little bit. Not a lot will wake me up. My wife can wake me up because, she's a small woman, but she's got a mighty punch on her. She does. She's well able to wake up Odi. You know that punch that your wife gives you. It's just into your ribs. It's like, wake up. Yeah, that one. Yeah, the one. Or the cold feet. You ever lying in bed and your wife will just put the cold feet on your back, just around your spine area, and she's like, "Oh, my feet are cold." Yeah. But a lot of things won't wake me up. My dog's barking will. Or my dog barking, Finn. And my wife. But tornadoes and earthquakes do not wake me up. Because the earthquakes that we have had and that were able to be felt here in South Carolina, in and around the Greenville and Anderson area, haven't felt them. What's it like? I need to know, is it the scariest thing that you've ever been through? Yes, I know we've had hurricanes have passed through, and a lot of people have lost their lives in the last couple of months. But, and I'm not making light of this in any way, shape, or form whatsoever, but what is it like? Text me in on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, or during the news, you can call me on the WORD talk line, 800-905-0989. And later on, I am going to be talking, I will be getting to your texts all about tornadoes and what has happened. But I will also be talking a little bit about Peanut the squirrel. Anybody knows about Peanut the squirrel? Yeah, R.I.P. Peanut. I have a message from the SCDNR, and I'm going to be talking about hundreds of local bars and restaurants having to close their doors. Yeah, I was a little bit upset when I heard that story, and I'll be talking about that when we get back. A bit scary. Don't like it. Anyway, you're listening to Sunday Nights with Odi Fitzgerald here on News Talk 98.9 WRD. It is the voice of the Carolinas. Ooh. Turn that down a wee bit. A little bit loud. All right, what we got on the stream? Harold, yeah, thanks, buddy. If you've joined the stream late, I was asking earlier on, if I was to run for governor once I become an American citizen, would you vote for me? Do you know? I was talking as well about tornadoes. If you've joined the stream late, talking about tornadoes, have you ever lived through one? Have you ever been in a tornado? Has a tornado ever passed through? As I said, we did have one close to our house a couple of years back. Scary. It was scary. Yeah, Harold, I reckon it was. Was that here in South Carolina, Harold? Not sure what that is, Philip. Is that? Oh, Gov Odi. Oh, yeah. Governor Odi. Governor Odi. I can do it. I can. You know what? I think I could. The leprechaun governor. Sells itself. The leprechaun governor. There you go. Talking about chainsaws earlier on. Yeah, it was an easily. Oh. Okay. Was there damage done? Harold, free to give me a call, man, because we're still on the news. Oh no, we're coming back. Don't forget, if you missed all of this show on the stream, you can listen back after the show is over. Sorry, the texts are coming in really great. You can listen back to the show on Word. You can listen back. You can listen back on Facebook, YouTube. It's on my YouTube account. Actually, if you want to go to my YouTube account, I need to find out what my YouTube account is. It's Odi Fitzgerald. If you look for Odi Fitz, no, that's not it. That's not that's the Odyssey one. I will find my YouTube account for you. Yeah, look up Odran Fitzgerald, Odran Fitzgerald, and it will bring you to my YouTube account. Now I have a lot of stuff on it, but I also I also have some very funny videos. So yet all of the News Talk ones, they're all on it. They're all backed up on it. But I do have some very interesting. I have a way to carve pumpkins. Yes. It's an older one. Bit of music. You can see my dogs on it as well. Yeah, you can look at it. It's called How to Carve Pumpkins. Okay. You can look at that. How to Carve Pumpkins on my YouTube page. All I'm going to say to you is it's a very South Carolinian way to carve pumpkins. And you can take that as you wish. We'll just say Bill Frady would be proud. I need to stand up. Stretch out a little bit. Oh! Remember a couple of weeks back, I was telling you all about my adoption process in Ireland and how I was adopted and how I got all news. If I get permission to talk about something, I'm going to, because it's very interesting. I'm saying this now to remind myself to do it. Yes, the adoption process. Right. Not for me adopting a kid, but when I was adopted as a little baby. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. We'll just say it's been a good experience. And there's a lot more people in the world that are related to me, which is kind of weird. It's fun, really enjoy it, but it's kind of weird. It's a little bit getting used to. And I know there's people, new relations who are watching this, whenever they're watching it. And I love it, but it's a little bit, but overall, it's been an absolutely fantastic experience. Yeah. Curious how people are watching. But yeah, if you've just joined the show, welcome in. And this is the streaming part of it. It is not the live. Well, it is live. It's 100% live right there. Me, live, you. But it's not. Oh, let's go back on radio.
Nights with Odi Fitzgerald on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Now here's Odi.
And you're very welcome back to the second hour of Sunday Nights with Odi Fitzgerald. Me, as always, the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line is wide open on 71307. Earlier on in the show, we were talking a little bit about earthquakes and tornadoes. What have we got here? I was asking you if you have lived through tornadoes and earthquakes. Oh, yeah, just I will be talking about Peanut, R.I.P. Peanut. Yes, I will. On the streamline, Harold was telling us about a tornado that passed through back in the 90s in Easley. He said a slice through a swing set in one of the elementary schools. Swing sets are steel. They're made out of metal chains. Oh, yeah, I was talking earlier on about needing to have warning signs on chainsaws because people do silly things with them. I bet it's a chainsaw pants that was promoting the warning to stop the chainsaws being used on one's genitals. I have a pair of those pants and I have never used them in that way, shape, or form. No, Texter. It wasn't. I saw it firsthand. I understand the chainsaw pants you're talking about. They've got built-in, I think it's a cotton layer. It's loads of cotton on the thigh part of it, on the calf side of it, or the leg part of it, the shin part of it, and it's designed to stop the chain straight away. But no. This warning was on the chainsaw. I'm not even going to lie about it. Odi, I was on the second floor of a house. It feels better in an earthquake. Okay, I'm going to take your word for that one. I thought a ghost was shaking the bed. So you were lying in bed and it was shaking. And you're saying it was a ghost earthquake. Okay. Odi, I used to live in Japan. One night, a 6.4 earthquake struck, followed about 20 minutes later by a 6.7. I learned that you can run all you want. I learned that you can't run at all in a 6.7. So a person tried to run as best they could. They couldn't run. Odi, former Californian, when you're very welcome here to South Carolina, lived through many earthquakes, was at the World Series earthquake in Candlestick. Is it Candlestick Park? On the 17th of October, 1989. Overall, earthquakes are rather fun. Well, yeah, I'm going to take your word for that one. Odi, I would definitely consider voting you for United States Senate for South Carolina. If you don't make the cut in the primary, just pivot your campaign to run for Greenville. Okay. Well, you see, this could have started out as something funny, but maybe it's going to happen. I don't know. Now, we have got 2 days left to vote. 2 days. That's all that's going to happen. 2 days. Are you going to vote? Now, the reason I ask, are you going to vote, is because I was with a few friends earlier on in the week, and one of the people turned to me and said, well, I'm not voting. And it got a little bit kind of like, and I said, well, are you, what party are you with? And they told me what party they were with. And I was like, okay, well, why are you not voting? And they said, what's the point in voting? To which I turned around and said, well, your vote counts. Every vote counts. And they said, yeah, but, it probably doesn't. And what's one more vote? And this person was adamant. They said to me, I'm not going to vote because there's no point in voting, because it's just silly, and it's something to give the people to do. It's not. Your vote is important, all right? Now, I could go down the whole thing. I'll tell you what I do. I'll tell you what I will do. I will talk about it the way it was taught to me in school. Now, I went to a Catholic school, okay? It was run by Christian brothers. Don't get me started on everything else that they did. If you had watched any of the Irish films from back in the day, you'll know. Anyway, we're not going down that rabbit hole. We're not. But I was taught that in 1922 in Ireland, this story may resonate a little bit, but in 1922 in Ireland, there was a civil war. Okay? The Loyalists were against the Republicans. That sound familiar? Might have happened somewhere else. And a lot of people died. A lot of people, a lot of Irishmen. Now remember, you can put this into whatever form you want, but in 1922 there was an Irish Civil War. There was another one somewhere else, very close to where I'm sitting right now, and it was Republicans against Loyalists. Okay? And a lot of people died so that I would have the right to vote. So what I'm saying to you is that a lot of people have gone before you, and a lot of people have made it so that you have the right to vote. Don't waste that right. Now, I want you to be honest with me for 1 second, okay? On the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, 71307. Remember, this is all 100% confidential. Any of the messages that come in here, we don't share them with anybody. We don't give anybody anybody's numbers. We don't. Are you going to vote? Have you voted already? Have you gone out? Have you made your name, made your voice count? And if you're not going to vote, tell me why. Seriously, tell me why. I'd like to know. The ballots are open early on on Tuesday morning. And I think they close around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I'm going to have to check up on that. If you voted early, a lot of people voted early. Charlie voted early. I think Bill voted early. I think my wife voted early. There's people voting early. People are going out there voting early. If you're waiting for the actual voting day itself, well, remember, there's a lot of stuff you can do on the voting day as well. I mean, you can, if you really want to, you can make an event out of it. You can make something big out of it. You can make a tailgating party out of it. Bring your friends, have a voting party, have an experience to vote. And you're saying to me, you could be saying to me there, Odi, I can't vote. I cannot vote because I am confined to the house. I can't get out of the house. I use a wheelchair, or my body isn't what it used to be, or I have trouble getting around. Give a buddy a call. Give one of your friends a call. I guarantee if you give one of your friends a quick call on the telephone and you say, hey, Jim, I kind of want to vote, but, I'm having trouble getting down there. And Jim will say, well, when do you want to do it, bud? And he's like, well, could you come down at maybe 1 o'clock and we'll head down. We can vote together. Have you voted already? And Jim could say no, or Billy or Mary or Anne or Susan. Any of them could say, well, I haven't voted yet, but you know what? I wasn't going to, but now I'm going to, because I'm going to bring you down to the voting center and we're going to vote together. Well, we're not going to vote together, but we're going to vote. It's going to be one of the things that we do. Dress up. Bring your friends. Show everybody else that Republicans know how to have fun. Even something that some people find mundane about going to vote. Go and have fun. Dress up. Make sure you can still be recognized and you still look like your photographic ID. But go, vote, get out there. You can't say, no, I'm not going to vote this time, Here's the thing. I cannot vote. I am not an American citizen. I cannot yet vote. I wish I could. I wish I could go to the ballots. I wish I was able to get out there, and I wish I was able to make my vote and make America great again. Texter just texted in, voted last Monday. There you go. Going to vote. When I come back, I am going to be talking about a little furry animal who's gone before us way too soon. R.I.P. Peanut. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD. This is the voice of the Carolinas. Linda, see, I love to hear that. Ah, okay. That's something I'll talk about in a second. Something came in the text. No, I'll read it out now. Yeah. I voted already. Last time I had jury duty, and the judge said it was our second most important duty. The most important duty was voting. There you go. Your voice, the thing is, right? Listen to me on this one. Your voice counts. All right. You may say, as people have said to me, what's the point? There's no point in voting. Yes, there is. There's all the point in the world. Get out there and vote. I am. Gatorade. I need to stretch my back, or are you enjoying Sunday night show? I am. There's only one. There's only one problem. Not a problem. There's only one thing about the Sunday night show, is that it's on, obviously now, and we're right up until 10 o'clock. So I leave the studio at about 10:30 because I have a few bits and pieces to do. Once I get finished in the studio, I have to edit up the show and I have to do a few bits and bobs. And then I head home, and it takes me about 45 minutes to get home. So I get home. Oh, I need another song. Sorry, talk amongst yourselves there for a second. Yeah, I get home around 11 o'clock, 11:15, give or take. And sorry, I'm reading. Yeah. Okay. I get home about 11 o'clock. I'm wide awake. I am just wide awake then. Because I'm hyped up and I'm giddy because and you can probably hear it. I get a lot of energy comes out when I'm doing the show. It's a little bit kind of bouncy. I get a little bit, but that's radio. I love it. I love what I do, and I have to bounce off the thing, and I have to be out there. So when I get home, I'm wide awake, like wide awake. Why is that not? But yeah. So then I have to relax. And I try to get to sleep. So I normally have a snooze. I normally try to have a snooze on a Sunday afternoon for about an hour. So, I can be hyped up. And the fact that I'm 43, if this was back in the Middle Ages, I'd be dead already. Well, not dead, but, I'd be a great grandfather by now. I'm watching a movie and it's weird. I'm not watching it. It's on. It's one of the screens that's on. There's movies on. We have TV on. We normally watch the news and we'll flick through it. But I can't find the remote control and I'm watching a movie. Okay. Going directly to the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. Excuse me. It says, hey, Odi, why can't... No, sorry, I don't want to read that one out. Voted last week and I would be working in a polling location on Tuesday. They are open from 7 to 7. There you go. That's the question I was asking earlier on. What time do the voting stations open and close? 7 o'clock until 7 o'clock. That's where you are. Odi, I voted early. Not liking the candidates isn't a reason not to vote. I have never personally liked any of them. I vote for the one who'll do the best job. There you go. There you go. People have said it to me. People have said to me, oh, I don't like either of the candidates. Okay, but still vote. You may not like everybody, okay? But you may like what their party stands for. Do you get me? You may not. Odi, Trump. Oh, okay. Here's one. Trump will not win. Kamala will be selected and ruled by dark forces for 4 years of Halloween. A little bit dark, but you can see where you're coming from. Why, Odi, why can't you go to the Kamala Harris website and get your citizen like she's letting illegals do? You know, some people say to me, do you feel... I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to come out with it. I've had a lot of people say to me in the last couple of years, they've said to me, Odi, you know, you need to just go down to Mexico and come back illegally, and you will be a citizen, and you will have loads of money, and, you know, it'll all be free, and all the fun. I'm not going to do that. Well, I'm already a green card holder, but I'm not going to do it illegally because I was not raised that way. I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to do it correctly. And when the Donald gets back into power, well, he is going to get rid of a lot of people who should not be in the country. He said he's going to do it, and he's going to do it. Because you remember back in the day when Donald was in power, there was not a lot of illegal immigrants. Look, illegal immigrants are always going to find a way in. Somebody that's doing illegal stuff will always find a way to do it. Okay? So it doesn't matter who you are or what you do. You cannot stop the bad people doing the bad stuff all of the time. You can try your best to do it, but you can't stop everybody. Okay? But when Donald gets back into power, he is going to do his best to make sure that as many illegals that shouldn't be in the country, that are causing harm to our country, that are causing chaos within our country, that are committing very, very bad, serious crimes, are no longer going to be in the country. Yes, I'm talking very serious crimes. They are murdering people. They are assaulting people. They are raping people. There is a lot of bad stuff happening because illegal immigrants are in the country. Okay? If I had come into the country illegally, well, then I wouldn't, first of all, I wouldn't be here on the show. And second of all, I would be worried because when Donald gets in, then I'd probably be leaving the country. But I am illegal. I am legal, sorry. Odi, I voted last. Oh, yeah, now, here's one. Odi, I already voted. Last time I needed to vote, I was on jury duty. The judge turned to me and said it was our second most important duty was to do jury duty. The first most important was to vote. So there you have it. Somebody that was being chosen or had been chosen to do jury duty was excused. Well, maybe excused, but they were told that the most important thing you can do is vote. And yes, it is. On the StreamYard, so glad you have your show now. And I am so glad as well. You can get us on the stream. Get me anywhere. On the text line, Odi, all of Georgia needs a forensic audit because of extended early voting in 6 counties, including Fulton County. I need to look into that again. They need to get audited. Well, here's a question for you now. Maybe you can answer this. Do you remember on the news a couple of days ago, there was a ballot box was set on fire? Do you remember that? What's going to happen then, ballots? What's going to happen? I tell you one thing. If I was voting, okay, and I put my vote into the ballot box, and I mean, it was fairly obvious where the ballot box was. If I was voting and I put my vote into the ballot box, the next thing I know, I see the ballot box on fire and they're removing all of the ballots out of it because they're just a smoldering mess. I'd be fairly peed off. I'm not going to lie to you. What's going to happen to that? What's going to happen to them votes? I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. No, actually, I'm going to put it the other way. Every single one of them votes could have been a Democratic vote. Okay, every single one of those votes could have been a Democratic vote. What's going to happen to that? Does it mean that the votes are going to be you're going to be able to vote again? Are they going to contact you and say, "Well, your vote didn't come in," but they can't do that because your name isn't on the ballot because it's a secret ballot, obviously enough. I mean, you need your name to get in and do the voting, but once it's there, well, it's not happening. What's going to happen to them? If it was Republican votes, what's going to happen to all the votes that were set on fire? You remember 4 years ago, there was a flood somewhere. Not going to mention where it was, but there was a flood and loads of ballots got destroyed. And if you happen to be watching on the streaming channel, destroyed. Okay. Yeah. What happens to those votes? I want to know if you can tell me what happened to those votes. Give me a text on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307. If you know what can happen again, if you happen to have legal standing and you can tell me for sure what's going to happen to votes that were destroyed, let me know. I'm going to talk about this one quickly. Peanut the squirrel. Yeah, Pine City in New York. Peanut the squirrel is an internet sensation that sparked out. He started in an animal sanctuary in Pine City. Well, he was euthanized after being seized from his home along with a raccoon. Statement from the New York State Department of the Environmental Conservation confirms that the Chunmeg County Department of Health in New York environmental blah 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 seized a raccoon and a squirrel who were sharing a residence with humans, creating potential for human exposure to rabies. In addition to all involved, so basically, they had to test the people for rabies after. Do you not think that they could have tested both of the animals for rabies before they euthanized them, and they could also test the humans? And does that mean, okay, so well, dogs can carry rabies, so does that mean that we have to get rid of all our dogs? Is this just something else that they want to take the attention away? Get that attention there and take it away from the important stuff by killing a pet squirrel. Can you imagine? Just think about it there for a second. I had to send Duke over the Rainbow Bridge there a couple of months ago. Okay, and I was absolutely heartbroken, devastated. And he got old. He was old. This little squirrel was not old. The raccoon was not old. They decided all of a sudden that they needed to euthanize the squirrel and the raccoon because they might be carrying rabies. Dogs might be carrying rabies. A lot of people have pet skunks. They could be carrying rabies. A lot of people have pet raccoons around the world, or well, around the country. They could be carrying rabies. Does that mean that everybody's going to have to get their animals euthanized? This to me smells like something that a certain party would kind of dig up, to stop. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that. Should we be getting rid of all the squirrels? You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD. It is the voice of saving squirrels. I would leave it on, but it is so warm in the studio. Like, this is just a fishing top. It's like really thin, really, really thin. Dun, dun, ba, dun, dun. And then I go and spoil it all by saying something stupid like, it is bad about that squirrel. Oh, okay. Well, how did it test people for rabies then? How to test people for rabies? Rabies in humans is diagnosed by using a combination of tests from saliva, spinal fluid. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Okay. Skin. But I'm sure they could test. Well, here we go. Animals. Okay, so it turns out that you have to kill an animal to do a rabies test on it, but you can do a rabies test on humans by spinal fluid and saliva. Um, Yes, I am singing the theme tune to Lord of the Rings, which I might watch when I go home because I will be hyper when I get home. I always am. Don't need that anymore. Don't need the peanut one. In case you're wondering, I'm just closing out some of the stuff that I have open. That is a weird looking thing. I'm still Coco is still on the screen behind me because it's just on. That's cool. Okay, let's get back to radio. Now, before the break, we were talking about Peanut the squirrel getting euthanized because they thought that he may have had rabies. He didn't have rabies. Maybe it'll come back that he did, and I'll be wrong, but I don't think he had rabies. Having to put down. And I asked the question, When we go to ad breaks, I am live on the streaming still. You can get it on the WORD Facebook page. I stream live there. And if you just, out of pure curiosity, want to see what a leprechaun looks like, well, you can go on there. It's, we can say that. I'm Irish. We're allowed to say that about ourselves. Leprechaun. Marianne came on and she said, Odi, so sad about the squirrel. Unfortunately, the only way to test for rabies on animals is to examine the brain, which I went on then and I looked out on the interweb. And yes, that is the only way that you can test for rabies on animals, is to euthanize them and then examine their brains. If you're human and you have rabies, it's a different story. They can check it with saliva and they can check with spinal fluid. That's how to check if you have rabies, if you have a human. Odi on the text line. Some people use pigs as pets. Yeah, but so I'm gonna put out this question. If you had a pig as a pet, okay, now some of you already know what I'm going to ask. If you had a pig as a pet, okay, now this is coming from a guy who loves his animals. We had Duke, who crossed the Rainbow Bridge there not too long ago, and we had Huckleberry. He crossed the Rainbow Bridge as well a couple of years back, and I now have Finn, and we have Branna. Branna is the what is she called? Bernie's mountain dog, and Finn is our border collie. So I love my animals, absolutely love my animals. Duke was cremated, and he is on my fireplace, on the mantelpiece on the fireplace. If you had a pig as a pet, do you know when you euthanize it? Are we having bacon for supper? Just asking, just putting it out there. Just putting it out there. This is coming from a guy who had a pet lamb way back in the day. Pet lamb is a lamb that was given up by its mother and you raised it. And it was on my uncle's farm. And, well, we ate it. Anyway, it got old enough. Text line, Odi, even though I hunt and eat squirrels, it's very sad about, yeah, it was. And the squirrel and the raccoon, I got bitten by a donkey once and it didn't kill me. So if I had rabies, you don't get bitten by donkeys. Try not to get bitten by donkeys. They made me take a vaccine and said that if I missed one, they'd send deputies to arrest and quarantine me until the shots were done. See, here's the thing, okay? I know the squirrel was killed. I hate that because anybody that loses a pet, it is a very sad thing. But did you know that rabies, when you catch it early enough, it can be stopped, okay? When you catch it on time, rabies can be fixed out of your system. It has to be caught really early. If you have late onset, or if you don't do anything about your rabies, if you have rabies, if you get bitten by an animal and you have rabies, if you get bitten by an animal, go to the doctor. Got bitten by an animal, okay, take this medication. You're not going to get rabies. If you have rabies and you don't do anything about it, it's going to kill you. It is going to kill you. It is a parasite. Not only is it going to kill you, right? And here is the science bit. Not only is rabies going to kill you, but it is going to make you bite people. It's practically a zombie virus. It is going to make you bite people because rabies is transferred in your saliva. So if you bite somebody, and you would bite them pretty hard, you will make them bleed and your saliva will get into their bloodstream and then they pass on the rabies. And that's how rabies gets passed on from animal to human to human to human. You need to, if you have it, yeah. I don't know how we got talking about this, but yeah, you have to get into it. Not going to read that one out. Some text messages that do come into me, I cannot read them out. Cannot. Now, if you remember a couple of, I have got a message I want to read out from the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. It was sent in to me earlier on by a very good friend of mine. He's an officer with the SDNR. It says, Odi, would you read this out to your listeners? I said, I certainly will. With the clocks falling back for daylight savings time, it is important for drivers to use caution on the roads. Most vehicle collisions occur near dawn or dusk because deer tend to move during these times. With the fall days getting shorter, there's also times the most people commute to work, to and from work. So we encourage everybody to drive safely and watch out for those whitetails. Yes, anybody that does a bit of hunting, you will know that whitetails move around dusk and dawn. And we all happen to be going to work around dusk and dawn now. It's very dark when I'm going to be going home tonight, but there you go. Now, I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago, and I am going to talk about it. Hopefully, next week, I'm going to be talking about it in more detail. But you've noticed that a lot of bars and restaurants have been closing down, not only here in South Carolina, but in Georgia and in North Carolina. There's been a lot of venues have been closing down. My thoughts as to why this is, now you can text in on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307. Have any of your favorite restaurants closed down lately? Any of your favorite bars closed down lately? Well, one of the thoughts, and I was talking to a friend of mine about this, he's a bar owner in Anderson, and he said, well, it's the fact that we can't afford the insurance anymore because people are making silly claims. Apparently, there was a restaurant in the Greenville area who had to close down because they were sued. Now, the reason that they were sued is that somebody was in their establishment and had one beer. Okay, one beer. I'm not going into too much detail, so I'm not going to name names, or I'm not going to say anything like that. One person had one beer in their establishment. 9 hours later, that person was involved in a fatal accident. But between the 9 hours of them having one beer in this establishment, I think it was the Greenville area, and when they left the establishment, in them 9 hours, they had copious amounts of alcohol somewhere else. Could have been at their own house, could have been anywhere. But the lawyer managed to sue the company, managed to sue the pub, the bar, whatever you want to call it, because they said that because the person that was involved in the fatal car crash had alcohol on their premises, it was their fault. Okay? 9 hours before that, they left the bar, we'll say at about, 1 o'clock in the day after having one beer. At 10 o'clock that night, they were involved in an incident. 9 hours later. How does that make sense? Seriously, how does that make sense? First of all, to get a lawyer that's going to say, well, you know what, you're in a lot of trouble, but I'm going to get you loads of money because I'm going to sue the bar. That's what I'm going to do because you were there 9 hours previous. And then for a judge to turn around and say, yeah, that sounds all right to me. That sounds good to me. You might say to me that the judicial system here in America is a little bit corrupt. I didn't say that. But I just think the fact that the world has gone to that place where if you have enough money and if you can pay a lawyer enough money, that they can make it turn around. Or if a lawyer can say, well, we could try and sue this establishment, stop doing it. Be a better person. If somebody does something wrong, be the better person. That's all I got to say to you. Just, it angers me. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD. This is the voice of the Carolinas. Hang on there for 1 second. Now, you're on with Odi. How can I help you? Hey, Pete, how are you, buddy? No, go on. Sorry, I turned off the audio for a second. It's back on now. Now, Harold, actually, it was another musician who highlighted it to me. One of the things. So maybe we could get you and the other musician on. I can get you on the stream, and it will come out on the air. So it could be something that we can chat about. Would you be willing to do? If you want to do that, drop me a private message. You have my private message. You can drop me a message on that. I will talk about that here. Cool. I had a beautiful curry fried rice earlier on tonight. I got it from a place called China. In China. It's just outside Anderson, and that's where I get my Chinese from. And I will tell you one thing: I can still taste it. And I'm not going to be rude, but if you burp, you taste. I love it. I love it. The curry sauce is the same as the curry sauce you get in Ireland, and it's amazing. I love it. All righty, let's do the last bit of this radio station show on Sunday night. It's the Odi one. It's promo. And you're very welcome back to the last segment of my show. Going good, blah, 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 blah. Yes, the last segment. Sorry, voice doesn't work sometimes. Going to go to the WRD talk line, and I have Pete calling in from Anderson. Pete, tell me about your horse, first of all.
Well, my horse bit me, Odie, and so I pulled his head down and bit him on the ear. And he never bit me again, and that took care of it. But I heard you talking about
the same thing. The same thing works with pups as well. When a pup bites you, because pups will bite you. There's one of the things
on the
you can
toes,
do.
ankles.
Yeah, you can give them a little nip on the back of the neck, and they're not going to do it anymore. But you're also telling me about a smart pig. Do you want to tell me?
There was a talking pig. You were talking about pet pigs and bacon, so I wondered if you'd heard about the talking pig.
Go on.
This fella goes to visit his friend, and I'll give you the shortened version. He goes to visit his friend, and his friend has a very smart pig that can talk. And he says his name's Charlie. And he says, would you like a cup of tea? He says, oh, I'd love a cup of tea. He says, Charlie, 2 teas. So off goes the pig and comes back, walking on his back legs, and 2 teas on the tray. He says, that's amazing. He says, I work for a newspaper. I'll be back next weekend with a photographer. We got to get a picture and a story about Charlie. Okay. So sure enough, he comes back next weekend. And he says, can we see the pig? He says, absolutely. You want teas? Oh, yeah. Charlie, 3 teas. And they hear scrape, stump, scrape, stump, scrape, stump. And in comes Charlie holding a tray with 3 teas, but he's got a wooden leg. So he says, oh, my goodness, what happened to Charlie? He says, well, good pig like that. You don't eat him all at once.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good one, Odie.
That's terrible. Odie. Thanks, Pete. Talk to you soon, buddy. Yeah, you just can't eat a pig all at once. Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. Odi, our state wants to change lawyers going to bars, going after bars. I will start it again. Our state want to change lawyers going after bars. The blue and purple legislators are 90% ambulance chasing lawyers. They get to do $1,000 checks into the office. Well, you see, it shouldn't be a case that, a lawyer can go after somebody for, like, I heard, now, this was a long time ago. I heard of somebody who broke into somebody else's house. Okay. Just imagine the scenario here, if you will. We will call our perpetrator Paddy. Okay? Paddy is after breaking into somebody's house. So already he has broken the law. Broken into somebody's house and was attempting to steal a lot of valuables from the person's house. Now, this is a true story. This is not a joke. Okay? This is not the three-legged pig. Paddy was attempting to steal something from the people's house. When he broke in, he got in through a window. He turned around to open the window for his colleague. I say colleague, I use that word sparingly. And he cut his arm. Okay? So much the fact that he needed about 10 or 15 stitches. The lawyer managed to get Paddy a massive settlement. Sorry, the name Charlie came up on the screen. Managed to get Paddy the large settlement because he was injured in somebody else's house. Now remember, he was injured in somebody else's house that he shouldn't have been in. He was in there illegally, but a lawyer managed to get money for this guy for breaking into somebody's house. I don't get it, and I don't see why a judge would get it and why a judge would let that happen either. Judges are supposed to, they're supposed to stand up for what's right. Lawyers are not supposed to try and but they're going to try and make money out of everything that they do. So somebody broke into someone's house and then sued the person after they broke into their house, caused damage, and were intending. I think they probably stole something as well. It's the world we're living in, unfortunately. Something needs to happen. Now, get out and vote. Okay? On Tuesday, the 5th of November, it's going to be a red letter day. It's going to be a big day. Get out and vote. If you don't vote, you cannot come to me or you cannot ring in. So if you don't vote, so you're sitting there at home right now. You are listening to the radio, or you are listening to us on the app, or you are watching the live stream on Facebook. If you do not vote, if you do not get out there and vote on Tuesday, if you haven't done it already, and if you're not getting out there now, do not call into the show giving out to me, moaning about the fact that the person you wanted to win did not get in. Don't do that. That's just watching the train go by and waving at it instead of getting onto it. A few years ago, whenever it was, I said to my wife, I'd love to get back on radio. And she said, do it. Get out there and do it. Get onto radio. That's what you want to do. You were on radio before, you enjoyed it. Get out and do it. If you're not going to vote, do not give out about who's in office. There's no point. Nobody's going to listen to you. Your opinion, if you go out and vote, if you vote like I would like to vote, you get out there and vote, and Donald gets in, and you're like, yeah, I'm happy with that. If Kamala gets in, you can't say anything bad about her because you didn't try to stop it. And it's the other way as well. If you're a Democrat and you want to vote for Kamala and Donald gets in, hopefully he'll get in. When he gets in, you cannot turn around and say, oh no, I didn't want Donald to get in. Can't say that. You have to let your voice be heard. Even earlier on today, Kamala was saying you need to let your vote be your voice. Your voice needs to be heard. Something she finally said that I agree with. Donald has said it as well. Get out and vote. Vote, vote, vote. That's what you need to do. It's 100% what you need to do. Here's Donald saying it again to you.
With your vote on Tuesday, I will end in.
Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Oh, no, that's the right one.
All we have to do is go out on Tuesday and vote, vote, vote. We're going to win it. This election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more years of incompetence and failure or whether we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country.
There you go. Get out and vote. Donald said get out and vote. Do it. on Tuesday night, we are going to be down at Bimini's. The whole crew is going to be down there. Bill's going to be there. Charlie's going to be there. Tara's going to be there. I'll be there. Come and have chats with us. 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Head on down. I will be available for handshakes and hugs, selfies. You know, you'll know me because I'll be the beardiest guy there. Tara doesn't have a beard. Bill has a bit of a beard, and Charlie has a bit of a beard, but Odi will be the beardiest guy there. So come down, have a chat. On the text line, it says, break into my house and you're going to need a good, you're going to need a good lead poisoning lawyer. Yeah. That is one thing that I really do like, is that you can defend your own house and your own property. There is something about that. It just gives you the warm fuzzies, you know, that you're able to do it. It's something, yeah. As I said earlier on, two things to take from the show tonight. 3 things if you really want it. Get out there and vote. Do not use your genitals to stop a chainsaw running. If you were listening to the show earlier on, you know why. And if you're a lawyer, and I would love someone in law to get in contact with me. I'm not talking about law enforcement because them guys do an absolutely fantastic job. The cops, look, you can say anything you want about the cops. They're getting out there and they're doing an amazing job. They really are. Cops, sheriff's departments, highway patrol. You know, when they come up behind you and they got the blue lights flashing, they're not doing it for the fun of it. They're doing it because, well, you probably done something you shouldn't be doing. So don't be giving them a hard time. But lawyers, I want a lawyer to get in contact with me. Really do. Because, you know, if you're trying to take money from honest, hard-working people, do you sleep good at night? Does it give you the warm fuzzies? You know, you're putting some people are being put out of business, you know, shop owners or store owners, restaurant owners, bar owners. And yes, I am going to be talking about that. And Harold made a comment earlier on that as a working musician, you know, venues closing, he's not able to, it's very hard to get work. And that's something that was highlighted to me as well. You know, if you need these venues to stay open and so you can make a profession and make a living out of it, you know. Anyway, as I said, Tuesday, vote. Get out there and vote. Come down to Bimini's. I'll be down there. I'll have a chat with you. I will talk to you next Sunday. Slán Awalya. Bye. All right, everybody on the stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. I said I'd try my best to bring you all the information I can. Time for me to get out of here very soon. I'm going to finish down and turn off everything. See y'all later. Slán Gafal. That means goodbye. Have a good week. Don't do anything I would. See ya.